Hello and welcome to the AVNI Interviews. We're your hosts, Eric Bork and Mikey Taylor.
What up?
We're the co-founders in AVNI, an intelligence brand for influencers and entrepreneurs. We are here today with Ben times 10. We have a special guest for you. And Ben...
Well, hit him with his real name, dog.
I hope... I actually don't know if I'll say it right. Ben, you got to tell me. Ben Riccardi. Is that right?
No, not even close.
Okay.
Riccardi.
Riccardi. So
but it's all good.
That's
I mean,
how
hey,
I thought you should say it. And I
Yeah.
said it how I second thought. Anyways, Ben started an agency in a 10 by 10 room and now runs a pretty massive agency right around the street here in Burbank, doing projects for brands like Jordan and Adidas. So Ben's here to give us a rundown on his story, and we are stoked to have you on, Ben.
Thanks so much. I'm super happy to be here. And you guys are doing really cool stuff and showcasing really badass people. So I feel lucky.
Hey man, I feel like your profession is one so many people can learn from, being that everybody is building their influence and building their social presence online. So we got some good stuff today. How much can we get out of Ben in 1 hour is the question here, because he's got a lot of knowledge.
I mean, the funny part is me and Mikey do this stuff off camera and off mic all the time for many hours. So we'll condense this as much as we can.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times in the past, like 3 months, Mikey's like, I'm going to call Ben. I'm going to call. So,
Well, dude, we're all there trying to crack this code, this algorithm code, you know? So it's
true.
like, when I'm like stuck on no growth, it's just like, I'll see what Ben thinks.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So we'll have some good insight for the viewers.
All right, Ben. So let's talk about what brought you out to LA to get started in times 10. So you're originally from, and I might get this wrong, is it Boston?
I was born in Maine, but grew up mostly outside of Boston.
Okay. And you were doing a TV show out there, is that correct?
Well, I mean, you got to go back a little bit more. I went to college in Baltimore. I was in the music industry and did the whole music thing. I was an artist, worked with artists, put on concerts in Baltimore. And then, so the TV show is like several years later.
Is that what you wanted to do? Be a musician?
I've always just loved being kind of a character of any sort, whether it was possibly like hosting, acting. I loved being on stage and being a music artist. I kind of enjoy it all.
Okay.
So
Who doesn't want to be a rock star, though?
Yeah, but
What type of music? Just out of curiosity.
heavy rock, like Rage Against the Machine.
Yo.
Yes.
And I did my thing. I mean, we played in front of thousands of people. Like we had record deals on the table. Like it was gnarly, but they were all a bunch of drug addicts, so that was not a fun situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what? So you're playing music, you're managing musicians.
Yeah, I was putting on shows in Baltimore. I was managing my band, and then gnarly story, but my drummer ends up stealing a bunch of money from me and the DJ's mom, like $10K. And I'm out here trying to get a record deal, actually.
How old are you at this point?
I'm 20-ish, and I got a call in DreamWorks Records calling my boys to be like, yo, we may make it. And they're like, oh, yo, Chris is running from the cops on the 605 freeway because he stole money from all of us, and they found a bunch of heroin. And I was like, awesome. So I went back to Baltimore, and I had to pick up the pieces. The band then kind of crumbled, and we were like so close. I started another band, which was going reasonably well. We hadn't started playing shows yet, but with like the badass talent of Baltimore. But one dude that I picked ends up being this complete dick in the band and treated me like shit the entire time. And I just couldn't, and the long and short is I was just so fed up. He was being super mean to me while I was trying to record my vocals. And I went to my boy who was in the band too, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm moving to LA in 3 days. I knew like 2 people here. I didn't know what I was going to do here, but I'm like, I'm leaving college and I'm moving to LA. They're like, huh?
I mean, do you had to have somewhat of an idea what you're going to do here? Was it going to be playing music here?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to try to like start a band here,
Okay.
like do what I do in Baltimore. And I'm like, I can do it in LA. And like, you know, it's that big dream that you have. I think I'd spent like 6 days in here in my life. And I was like, I'm going to go after this and give it a shot. And so I came out here. This was also, the funny story is that when I first came out here, I'm on Craigslist in Baltimore, and I'm like, oh my God, this house looks dope. It's a pool. The guy was like the drum tech for Sugar Ray at the time, so I'm like, this is gonna be cool. And I drive 2.5 days So we barely stopped. 2.5 days from Baltimore all the way to LA.
You by yourself?
Me and my boy that was that guitar player that
okay.
was my friend in it. We get here, and I end up like going, oh my God, like this is amazing. And I put my stuff down. And I'm like, all right, let's go to LA. Let's go to the Sunset Strip. And the dude turns to me and goes, you know that's like an hour and a half away. I was like,
where did they have you?
I was like on Diamond Bar. I was on Diamond Bar. And like back then, I'm like,
You're like,
I
I'm
don't
in
know.
LA.
I mean, it was on the Los Angeles Craigslist. So I'm like, it has to be close.
Yeah.
So I did that for like 2 weeks. And I turned to the dude that had the house. And I'm like, yo, man, I can't do this anymore. Like my whole dream is down there. And he's like, bro, all good. You don't worry about the lease. Like, go do your thing. So I search and find this apartment in downtown LA. I mean, the guy's a little weird but the place is sick and it's only $800 and it's like I kind of have enough money, but I really don't. But I'm like, he's like first and last, $1,600. I'm like, all right, I probably have like $2,500 total. But I'm like, I'll give him $1,600 of it, not telling my family anything. And I give him $1,600. Come back like 2 days later to move all my stuff in. Literally, my Dodge Neon is packed to the gills, like TV against the window, mattress on the roof, like crazy. Show up, get in the elevator to bring my first load up, and this guy's coming down the elevator, and his buddy's with him, and my buddy's with me, and he turns to us. I'm this 20-year-old kid, and he's like, bro, you got to tell him. Tell me what? No, dude, you got to tell him. Nah, bro, I can't do. Dude, tell me what. So he turns to me and goes, yo, you're about to move in this dude. He, I think, has AIDS. He's running a gay porn site out of his bedroom. He has a family from Honduras that comes and visits. And I found him ODing twice since I moved in 3 months ago. This isn't good. You shouldn't move in here.
And you already gave him all your money.
I gave him all my money. So, like, I don't have enough money to survive. Like, I've already paid more for gas and everything. So
you're like ran with it.
I'm like, what do I do? So I jump back in my car and I like literally know 2 people. And one guy I knew was like living with his mom. He's like, you can't stay with me. My other buddy had a girlfriend. And the first night I stayed with them and the girlfriend was like, I want to have sex with you and I can't with homeboy here. Like, he can't stay here anymore. Okay. So I'm like, awesome. So what do I do? So I go in this super seedy internet cafe. Like, I'm aging myself, but back then, like, Sunset Boulevard was a disaster. I mean, it was very bad. I was in this super seedy at La Brea and Sunset. There was this internet cafe. And I went there and, like, tried to search for, like, anything, $200, $300, like, that I could just crash in. There's nothing. There's a Days Inn across the street, and it's like 3 in the morning, and I've been searching, and I'm like, bro, can I just give you like $40 and just stay in a room? Nah, bro, $130 a night minimum. I don't have that. Like, there's no way I can give this dude $130 for 6 hours of sleep. I was like, bro, can I sleep in the garage because it's gated underneath? And he's like, sure. So I pull my car in with my TV against the window, all my shit in there, and just crash out underneath.
Did you have to give him the $40 for that?
No. Okay. You just let me do it for free.
Was this a one-night thing?
No. This was weeks. This is weeks.
I think
of
it's
like
so
my
fascinating.
life.
This is one thing that I grew up out here, right? So
yeah.
I was kind of born in LA.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that come here to follow their dreams, right? And I feel like most people are met with that situation, right? It's not what they expected. They find themselves living in Diamond Bar. They're living under a garage. Like,
it's great. It's crazy. And I
so
think
it was probably shocking when you got here, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty is that I'm aging myself again, but like we didn't have like the internet and phones at our disposal to like just find things.
Yeah,
you like were on Craigslist scouring.
Yeah.
So it made it really difficult to like get started. And I'm a go-getter, but like there's just so much go-getting you can get.
Yeah.
So I think, and one other thing about moving out here is that if you're not from here, most parents don't want you to move here.
Yeah.
And so my parents weren't like against it,
but they weren't
like, and I don't come from money, so they didn't have like 10 grand to be like, here, go do your thing. It was like I had saved up a little bit of money from working. And that was what I had, and I couldn't really ask anybody for money because everybody was kind of like, you should be in college. You shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And so when I got here, ran through it. So long and short of it is I found an actual room off of a garage at this point in Eagle Rock. Stayed there for 3 more months. I had to walk outside to get to a shower. And then I was like, yo, I got to go back to Baltimore and just kind of regroup and try to figure this out again. So I went back to Baltimore for about a year, regrouped, got pretty damn close to my degree. I'm still 3 credits short, so I don't think that's going to happen. But moved back out here, came out here for 2 weeks and was like ready to go. Better place. And then my brother called me and he had started a TV show that was going to air on the WB in Boston, but he couldn't find a host to save his life. He's like, dude, doing auditions, I can't find a host. And every single person that knows us keeps telling me, why isn't your brother hosting this show? And I
did it.
Flipped back around. I drove again out cross country, turned back around in my car, drove back to Boston now, and did 8 episodes. We did 13 episodes over the next, kind of several months. We beat Carson Daly 8 out of 13 episodes. I interviewed some of my favorite artists back then, Pharrell with NERD, Blink-182, 311, just really dope music artists, and shine spotlights on all these up-and-coming dudes out of Boston that were like doing really cool things. And we just did really cool things with all these people. I'd be like, yo, let's go-karting. And I'd grab like a band and we'd go-karting. So it was gnarly, and it was a blast, but we both, my brother and I, weren't figuring a way how we could turn this into a big business.
Yeah.
So we were both like, yo, this was awesome. We learned a ton, but let's kind of go figure the next stage out. My brother went on to work for a big online retailer called Karmaloop, and I packed up my stuff once again, drove right back to LA, and came back out here again. And that was I think I was 24, 25 years old.
Did you have a different plan this time? Was it still trying to stay in music? Right? You're out of music.
To be straight with you, I the thing you'll learn throughout this whole interview is I go with my heart. I don't go with my mind most of the time. And some of the time it works out incredibly well. Right now it is. But a lot of times I've fallen on my face and I've hit rock bottom a lot of times. Whereas my brother, on the other hand, very cerebral, thinks through, plots, and has had his success doing that, whereas I'm the other type of entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I moved back out here, started managing music artists, and so that's kind of where it went. Went back, helped my pops with a business in Baltimore and in South Carolina.
Tell us about your dad real quick. You mentioned that your dad gave you some entrepreneurial roots.
I mean, my pops and my brother, but starting out, my pops from the jump, we've watched it. So my dad had us reasonably young, and so at 24 years old, he was the youngest Burger King franchisee in the world, which was pretty gnarly. He owned 2 Burger Kings in Maine. That's how we got to Maine. I was born over there. And my dad is a workaholic still to this day, and I still talk to him every day about business. And so I've watched him just battle, go through bankruptcies, but then go through tons of success, go on to run multiple minor league professional sports teams as the president of teams, but he's a marketing and kind of branding genius. So he's very different than me, very much like copy-driven, where you can take a business, thinking through it all. And I mean, he's very, very, very good at it. So literally with almost everything I do in a business setting, I'm calling him and being like, Pops, what should I do in this circumstance? Or even some of the P&L type stuff, or like, how should I raise money or what? And he's just a good resource. And then also just brands that I work with today, campaigns I work with today. He wrote a lot of the ×10 deck. Like he literally wrote our mission statement, which is really cool. And it's a young, cool, hip mission statement. And it was written by a 60-plus-year-old badass dude. Nice. So my pops definitely shaped my brother and I, because my brother's been an entrepreneur since he was 14 years old. I mean, the funniest story going back to the entrepreneur side is my brother and I would buy a video game system. We'd get something for Christmas. And then there was a flea market every year in October. So we would like gang up, buy games, and then we'd rent a booth at this big flea market in our town, sell all the kids the video games, and then we go get the next best video game setup. So we were always like ahead of the game. And then we were like buying and selling stuff, and we were just working our magic. We ended up like talking to flea market people and giving us like the best booth. They love but we were like 13 years old doing this.
See, I love hearing about that. Like that was not I'm not want to say us, but that was not me at all.
Yeah.
But it's so cool hearing about like entrepreneurs that had these like childhood, like even from an early age, you could just tell they were flipping whatever cigarettes at school or like selling video games. Like they all have like an entrepreneurial hustle at a young age, and I love hearing that because that was not we were just trying to ride skateboards. Like it was so different for us. I know, but that's so cool.
And my boys that were trying to ride skateboards, like I'd get on it and fall on my ass in like 3 seconds, and I'm like, I can't do that. So like I gotta figure out what'll make me cool.
And it's cool that your brother, like I know you and your brother are close, but you and your brother have like completely different, not only talents but companies. And,
100%.
And you guys both do really well at what you do.
Why don't we dive into that right now? Tell us a little bit about your brother.
Yeah, so my brother is Blake Ricciardi. You can find him on IG at Blake Ricciardi. He owns a clothing brand called Popular Demand. Sold, they just announced this week they're in lids. They sold in Foot Action, Zoomies, worn by every music artist you can think of, from Kevin Durant to Drake to anybody you can think of has worn his stuff. And that business is tough. And
it is. It's such a grind,
it's
isn't
so gnarly launching a clothing brand, not having any money behind you, and doing what he's done. And he's really taken it from 4 shirts to being a nationally known brand, which I think is just incredible, and it's been fun to watch. And so I've been able to really watch this every step of the way. And the tough part for my brother and I is like there's times where like I'm skyrocketing and he's having a downturn, or vice versa. And really what we've been able to do is jump right in, and even down to like money, where I'm like, bro, I'm 20K short, like I need help. Or he'll be like, yo, I need this for an order. Can you rock this with me? And like we're just there for each other. And what's crazy is growing up we weren't super close. We were enemies. And then as soon as he went off to college, we started getting super close. And now I moved him where he's now in our office, and we've expanded our office so he could be in there. And he has his whole staff in there, and we have our whole staff. We have 11,000 square foot office, but I think we'll probably get into that a little bit later.
Why don't you tell us about your office right now? Tell us.
You know what? Sorry to cut you off. Before you go into what you're doing now, I want to hear about how you're in the music industry. What led you to get into creative or?
Yeah. So I was always on the marketing side and the sales side, but like marketing was always my thing. Like my big story in the music industry was I took this kid named John West who was playing on the 3rd Street Promenade, selling CDs for like $10 a pop. And nobody really knew who he was. He could do pretty well at like a Viper Room type place, but met this kid through a mutual friend, went down and watched him. I'm like, oh my God, he's a megastar. And turned to him and I said, let's put on a show together. We put on a show and it was really successful. And I was like, I want to manage you. And within like a couple of days, I was managing him. And I took him from the 3rd Street Promenade, and we got a multi-million-dollar record deal, 1-day record deal at Mercury Island Def Jam. David Massey. The last 1-day signing they had done was with Rihanna.
What's a 1-day signing?
Literally
They see you, meet you, sign you that day?
Same day. Like they wouldn't let us leave the office until we signed the paperwork. Wow. Which is so unheard of, but I kind of talked them into kind of going, there's a bidding war. Atlantic wants us. I'm going to meet with these guys. But we want to be here. So just
you are a good sales guy.
So give us the right deal. So it was gnarly. So I took this kid at the time. I mean, he told me he had $5.72 to his name when we were in New York City. And he left there with essentially $250K in cash, and when we got back, like another $200K coming to him in a publishing deal. Oh, so, I mean, nice. So it was gnarly. So we had a really cool run.
What is I have no idea. What's a management fee? Like, what's a management?
So I was getting 20% of whatever he made, but it was tough because it took us a year plus to get there, and then that was my payoff. But then it's going to take us years to start making more money. Sure. And the hard part is I love John to death, and he's incredible talent. But the hard part for somebody like that is you're playing on the street, and you have this kind of interaction of like, I play to you two, and you're like, oh, you're amazing. To then going to like bigger and bigger places. Kind of messed with him some, and I think it was tough for him. And I think it was tough for him also to go from like struggling with money to like having all this money and not really knowing what to do. Yeah, of course. So he went through it. We spent a couple years. He had a song that came out with Big Sean and Pusha. He had another song out with Pusha T. Both had some success. The first one was with Pusha, was put all over. You know, it had some good success. And the one with Big Sean, the label told us they were going to put a bunch of money behind it. Got to 37 on the charts, and then the label called us and was like, "Yo, we're pulling the plug on this." And it was devastating for both of us, and it was tough. And so we kept pushing at it for probably another 6 months or so. And then he and I just decided, like, yo, go out there, find some new energy. And I thought it was best for both of us. So fast forward, I went on and was kind of hustling, just working with different artists that were signed to different labels. And then a good friend of mine introduced me to Bruno Mars's 4 sisters. So he has 4 sisters that were all in their 20s at the time, and they were trying to make it and didn't really have too much direction, didn't really have any managers around them. And my buddy, who's more of a producer, was helping manage them. I was like, dude, I need your help. Came in and we talked about options, and we said, let's try to go after a TV show. And so we went after and chased down creating a TV show from scratch, and I had friends at different places and knew people over at APA, and they introduced me to their TV department. And we started meeting with production companies. I kind of cultivated the idea with them, sold the idea we had, I think, 8 different production companies we met with, and all 8 gave us offers. We went with one of them over another, which was, in retrospect, a big bummer for me of how the story ends. But we then had 4 different networks that wanted it, 2 that went after kind of a bidding war, one being WeTV. We offered us 8 episodes guaranteed full rate, all of us getting our full rate we were asking for. We took the show on. Production company had trouble finding a showrunner. They found this guy who, I'll say it on camera, I think the guy was a punk and he wasn't good. And me and him didn't see eye to eye, and he was creating a really terrible show. And they weren't happy that I was trying to push for a better show. And there wasn't enough drama on the show, and after the 4th episode, they talked the girls into essentially getting in it with me and getting there to be this drama that they needed, and them parting ways with me. It was gnarly because it was my whole life. It was like a dream. I'm finally seeing everything coming to fruition, like finally breaking out. And
that's the shit I hate about, like, was it reality TV?
Yeah, it was reality.
That's what I hate about reality TV. It's like there has to be drama. They force the drama. It's the most retarded shit.
They force the drama, and they force it, which honestly ended up being way worse for the sisters. Show ends up coming out. I never talked to the sisters after that day for years until we've had a couple texts exchanged, and I was devastated. I cared for these girls so much, and I wanted to see them win. And I still to this day think really high thoughts about them and think they're great people, but it just didn't work out. But I'll be straight, I went to a pretty deep depression because it was like I had given my soul to this industry, and everywhere everybody turned to me and was just screwing me over. And so I sat in this room in my brother's basement of his office in Universal City, and it was a 10 by 10 room about the size of this with no air conditioning and no heat. And
this is your brother's office?
Yeah, it was the basement of it.
Okay.
And it was this 10 by 10 room, and there was a washer and dryer in the corner. And I said, what am I going to do now? And I was staring at the wall, and I said, the thing I'm not going to do is have somebody else determine how much money I make. So if that person doesn't want to work hard, I don't make any money. I'm not doing that again because I'm just going to outwork and be relentless to make it. At the time, I probably had, I don't know, maybe $1,000, $2,000 to my name. My ex-girlfriend at the time is literally slipping $20 bills in my pockets for me to eat lunch and dinner. And so I was still putting on some shows, but I said, whatever I'm going to do is I'm going to charge somebody for what I do. So I'm going to come in and consult for you. You're going to pay me a retainer fee. That's how I'm going to work this now. Because I can't do this anymore. Because I get too passionate and I care too much. Yeah. So I started doing that, and that's really was the inception of what the company I have today became. This was a little over 6 years ago. And this just is a testament to like people sitting at home right now going like, I can't do it. Yo, I had nothing. I had no clients. I didn't know what I was going to do. And started out with a small client who paid me $1,500. And I had to pay out a bunch of money to go like, somebody go film this video. Somebody write this for me. Somebody do this. Just kind of being the ringleader.
So how did you get that first client?
Just networking. I think networking's so important. And I knew a lot of people in the industry, and people knew me. So they knew I did a lot of really awesome things. So people would come to me and be like, can you help me with my sister who's trying to make it? And they'd be like, will you manage her? And I'd be like, no, but I'll help you build her brand and help you launch her. Just pay me X, Y, and Z. And if we decide down the road we think management makes sense, I'm open to the conversation. Nice. And that's kind of how it started. So I thought it was just going to be kind of a music company that helped people grow and help people kind of artist development, because it just wasn't going on in the industry anymore. That's where I started. And then I had an old friend that I worked in the music industry, this kid named Michael Adrian, who filmed videos for me in the past. And we had a falling out because of a partner of his. That kid was moving back to LA, and he was struggling. He was working, I think, at Sam Ash, and he was working at some car place. Had no money, but he was an insane talent, and I knew that. And he reached out to me on a whim. This was about 8 months into times 10. And I had maybe an assistant at the time, but I was outsourcing pretty much everything. And I said, Michael, what are you doing? You want to come film a video for me? Give you $500, yada, yada, yada. He came, and then we just hit it off. And I was like, dude, what would it take for me to hire you full time? What do you need? And at the time, he was making nothing. He was like, dude, you give me $1,500, I'll just come. I don't care. After, just make sure I need it no taxes taken out, just $1,500.
Under the table real quick. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it kind of started with him. And so we came on board, and from there, it just kind of everything just started falling into place. We made some really stupid hires. I hired a couple more people with very little money. I'm the guy that hires or spends money and worries about finding the money later. But I've never had it hurt me, but it's a scary thing. But so what happened was this guy reached out to me about a music artist, and he was hearing what we did, and he's like, dude, do you think you could work with a brand? And I was like, I mean, sure. And it was a brand called Boom Phones, which is a headphone company that had speakers on the outside and the inside. So you could play them as a boombox, and you could play them as, they were cool. And he was like, dude, what if I'll give you $4,000 a month. Help us with content and help us with our social medias. And I was like, that sounds good. He's like, I'll give you the $4,000 up front. I was like, huh? It was so hard chasing down money in the music industry. And I was like, wait, so you pay on time?
So that was your first taste of a retainer.
Yeah. Well, I'd had retainers before, but it was always a parent, or it was some random guy in the music industry. And it was always just hard to get the money.
Yeah.
So this was a lot easier.
And did you have a following? Did you have a personal brand at this point?
No. So I still think the world of her, but my ex-girlfriend who I was with for 5 years at the time was not a big fan of social media. Oh. So I maybe had 800 followers. And it was and I was going out there kind of selling social media, and people would look at me and being like, your social media is whack.
Yeah.
And so that was hard, because I try to sell people on social media, my social media was whack. And
because I see that even now. I know you do too. It's Instagram expert, social media expert, and then you look at their following,
and they have I saw a girl today that applied for a job with me, and she said she's an Instagram expert. And I go to her page, and she has 7,000 followers, and she's following 6,000 people, and her content's terrible, and her bio's terrible, and I'm like, what? What do you It's so hard for me, because that's so important for you to, or just don't have an account. Be I don't do it with my own account. But if you're gonna have an account, that thing better look crispy. Yeah. So me and my ex, this is an interesting part of the story. But me and my ex broke up because I was so devoted to launching this business. Yeah. I was sleeping in my office type thing. Yeah. And so that was kind of the launch of it, and that's kind of where it started. And we've had pretty much stairs, and sometimes we'll jump a few stairs, but it was always $1,500 client, then $3,000, then $4,000, then da 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 da. And so, but we started hiring. I hired 2 people that were total wrong hires. I hired a PR person and a director of operations when I had 2 of us. It was the worst decision. Let those guys go. Then we started hiring. I'm gonna hire a designer. That was a great hire. And then I had a few more people. And then by the time I looked around, I had 9 people in a 10x10 room in the middle of June. It was 100 degrees out, no air conditioning. And these people are looking at me sweating, going, bro, what are we doing? Yeah. So I'm I guess I need an office now. So I turned around and I started looking for offices. And that was maybe about 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago.
Gosh, it's crazy what you've done in 4 years.
Yeah, I got into an 1,800 square foot office in Hollywood. Cool location. It was a lot of There's a lot of homeless people outside, but it still worked. And I started there, then I expanded a little bit more. And so that's kind of where the story kind of starts growing into kind of what we are now.
I feel like most people start an agency by themselves. They manage a few people's accounts, try and manage more, hire people, grow that way, right? You did not do that.
I mean, I didn't come into this as like a social media guy.
It was more creating marketing content?
Yeah, but branding agency. We wanted to help brands blow up.
Okay.
I'm a guy. I found John West on the street, and I turned him into a brand, and that's what I love to do. And still to this day, that's what I love to do. I love campaigns. I love building brands. Social just happens to be the medium that we can utilize and growth and all those types of things. And I need to study it. And it's like, it's like the roadway and the race car is the brand and the roadway is social.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, touching on that, I have always been the guy that wanted to have people that rode with me, that was a part of my squad. So like, I find independent contractors, they're going to care just so much.
So let's fast forward right now. Everyone's employed by you. How many employees do you have?
I think we're up to 22.
And most people basically contract.
A lot of people contract out or even subcontract the entire business. So like a big brand will hire an agency. That agency will turn around and hire another group of people to do it.
Yeah, so they don't get stuck with the overhead while they don't have jobs to do, right?
Exactly.
So why do you do it the other way? So you have people that are like kind of loyal. It's your team.
I think loyal. I think talent, and I think creativity, and I think what we are is special. And I think the more I got guys that like I can dive in with, I think it's important. A lot of people fought me on it. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but
I think it's expensive.
It is. I'd probably be a lot richer doing it the other way. But I'll tell you this: we wouldn't be growing the way we're growing to the level we're going to grow if I did it the other way.
So then, what have been some of the hardships about you doing it this way? When you didn't have jobs, I imagine.
Shoot. I mean, take me back 4 months ago. We had a really good January and February this year. Awesome. 6-figure months. And then all of a sudden in March, we lost a massive client that we were locked in with. And we went and did $34,000. And to some people, that sounds like a lot of money. And to me, many years ago, it was a ton of money. But $34,000's nowhere near our overhead, like not even close. So that just crushed us. And so you go through situations like that where you lose a big client or you lose a big situation and you got to scramble because I can't lay everybody off. They're my talent. They're essentially, without employees for me, I have no business. They're my currency. My team is my currency. My output is our currency. So I had to keep making payroll
without money coming in.
And that's happened throughout the entire business. Yeah. And I always, as I said earlier, I mean, I hire more than I probably should, but I want awesome talent. And even things to the way of like, I'm hiring somebody in a position that I was planning on paying them 60, but they're so good and they need 90. And I just go and try to figure it out. Yeah. And I mean, that's just the nature of how I've always been is like, yeah, I just
has that been a consistent theme or kind of problem that you've had to solve since the beginning?
A consistent theme of me is just, once again, this heart over mind. Going back to, just fast forwarding a little bit, the office that we're in, which is... At the time when I was getting him 7,000 square feet, 20-seat movie theater, basketball hoop inside of it, amazing, amazing office. But I had an office at the time when I was moving out that was $4,000 a month, and I was looking for a little bit bigger office that I was willing to spend $6,000 to $7,000. This office was $15,000. Probably not the smartest move, but I talked the landlord into giving me the first year at 12. And then making the other 2 years of the lease much higher. And so I was like, sure. And I just did it. And I didn't even have enough money to show him. He's like, dude, how can you afford this? You don't even have the money to show us you can afford this. And I turned to him and I said, just trust me, bro. I got you. and I'm still in the office, and we've expanded. We took over the office next door, and now we're up to 10,000 square feet. So I must have done something right, but
it's just so funny. We talked about this like 2 weeks ago. You and I are so different with the way we
we're so
just
different.
operate. But I think that's why like we are friends.
Oh, it's totally.
But like that gave me so much anxiety, even thinking
my
about
business.
say like I have no idea how I'm going to pay for this. I can afford 6. I'll do a deal for 12, and I'll figure it out. Terrifies me.
And the next year is going to be
Absolutely terrifies
17.
me. Oh my god.
And I'm going like, but the thing about it is, I knew doing it would take
Change
us
your
to
business.
another caliber of clients.
Yeah.
So going back and taking a few steps back, so we're in this like $3,500 office. We're doing like clients. This is a couple years prior. We're doing clients like $5,000 to $10,000 clients. In the food business, you know, we had great success with a company called Fat Sal's Deli, which has a few locations here. And we took their Instagram from 16,000 to 80-something thousand in about 12 months or so. And we did that with a few different clients and had success. And so we were hustling back then. And then we got a couple big opportunities. Then we got Shoe Palace, which is they've at the time had about 100 stores. Started doing video content for them, paying us pretty well, but it opened up insane doors.
So what type of content were you creating for them?
Short form. I mean, everything we do is short form content.
Creative. Oh, the whole creative is done by you. Whole process. You come with the idea.
Video, photo, idea from inception. Still to this day, that's what we're an ideation agency at its core, because we come up with crazy, gnarly ideas, and we'll talk down the road about like coming up with like the James Harden Nightmare campaign that just had a bunch of success. But back then, we're coming up with all of the campaign ideas and all the ideas, and they were lacking on high-end video for Shoe Palace. And they had a big fan base, a couple 100,000 on social, but they were lacking it. They were tough to work with because there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen and nobody really knew what they were doing on their side, on the social side. But we were able to bring them some really amazing content to help them sell, get a lot bigger things happening with Jordan. And Jordan loved the videos we were doing. And that, in tune, got Jordan to give them more shoes to sell.
How did you guys connect with Jordan?
So that happened. So Shoe Palace is throwing an event for Blake Griffin on Melrose. And so we have Blake at the spot doing this insane video. Like, Jordan's expecting us to do this like rinky-dink little video of like the recap of him coming to this store. Well, this goes to who I am, and what I always recommend is I go big when I first like see an opportunity. So like, I brought out 3 cameras, drones. I'm taking this on like a full.
And if I remember, this is a recap for internal.
Totally different thing. That's
okay,
the next.
My bad.
That's
Keep going,
the
keep
next thing I'm gonna tell you guys about. This is actually the video for Shoe Palace about Blake Griffin coming.
Got you. Okay.
But I knew big, heavy honchos from Jordan are gonna be there. So it's
Got you.
my way of like going like, hey, bro, I'm over here. Like, talk to me. So he shows up the day before. This gentleman by the name of Jerron Smith. If you guys don't know who he is, go follow him, go look him up, go read articles about him, go listen to his podcast he did with Drama. He's an incredibly talented dude, Forbes 30 under 30. And the owner of Shoe Palace was like, dude, when this dude comes, he kind of was like, he's an interesting dude. He's got a big ego, but like, he's doing big things at Jordan. Young dude in his 20s. I'm like, awesome. Dude walks in the door and I'm like, I'm on him. I'm like, I am going to make this dude care about me somehow. And you got to imagine, this dude people do this to him all day long, every day. He has the ability to change people's lives by giving them campaigns with, Russell Westbrook and Blake Griffin and things like that. So I show up, we're talking to him, and I talk him into saying, yo, bro, if you love what we do, just come to my office. Come see what we do. So we shoot this crazy video, and he's like, dude, you guys went out of your way, and you guys crushed this. Fine. I'll give you 10 minutes, bro. I was like, can I drive you there? He's like, giving me that. I'm like, no, like right now. He's like, really, bro? All right, fine. So we drive over, and I kind of missed this part of the story, but our first kind of breakout big client was Carmelo Anthony at the time, the New York Knicks, who I met through his brother-in-law. We did a bunch of really, really crazy cool shit with Carmelo. And we came up with this really dope campaign called Define Yourself with Carmelo. Ideated on it, shot it all in New York City. And Jerron shows up to my office, and we put on the Define Yourself video. And he goes, you guys did that? I was like, yeah, bro, like we did that. That was our idea, yada, yada, yada. I'm like showing him all the documents, the proposal, yada, yada, yada. He's like, bro, that was going around Jordan as an internal pitch to say this is what we should do for Carmelo over the next year. But then we found out it was an outside agency and we couldn't work with that agency and we didn't know who it was. I was like, what? That was us. Yes. You guys couldn't find us? Like, that was us. So he was like, bro, I fuck with you guys. I'm going to find a project and I'm going to give it to you guys. I love how hungry you are, Ben, and like, I'm going to give it to you. I was like, oh my God. So now fast forward.
Wait, so you basically took him from the Shoe Palace event, drove him to your office, showed him that video.
On a Saturday.
And I mean, I love it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So
Good
then,
stuff.
so then once again, like he goes away and like, you know, he's probably just kind of blowing smoke. I'm on him once a week. Yo, bro, how are things? What's going on, bro? All right, bro, I need an internal recap video for this event I'm doing on Santa Monica Pier called the Kings of SoCal. What's funny is this is when Lonzo Ball, LaMelo, and Jello were all like 14, 15, and 16. And they were playing in these games on the Santa Monica Pier. He's like, I need an internal recap. I got $6,000. I'm like, okay, so normally a $6,000 video would be a couple of maybe like 5Ds and like edit it together and like give them something good.
And just to make sure that people are hearing this is an internal recap, which is never going to be seen outside by anyone. You're doing this for the company
Jordan,
to be seen internally.
This is just for him to sell it up the chain, go like, look how awesome our event was.
Awesome.
I'm like, bro, like, I'm gonna like, yeah, like we'll do an internal, but like we're gonna do something cool. He's like, all right, bro, but like it's an internal recap. Don't go to him.
So you went all out.
Oh my God. I call into our like small ass conference room. Like, here's the deal, guys. It is not an internal recap. We are going all in. I get a crane, a 30-foot jib. So those big things you see on like TV sets. And I call the production company who's putting on the event. I'm like, yeah, like, so can the Santa Monica Pier hold a 30-foot crane? Huh? Yeah. We're just gonna bring it in for the video. Jerron calls me. He's like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, Jerron, just let me live, bro. Let me live. So I have 3 Red Dragons, the Steadicam op that had just done the Big Sean I Don't Fuck With You video. We have a 30-foot drone. I mean, a 30-foot crane, drone, one of the best drone dudes in all of LA. I have a crew of like 10, 15
This is sounding
people.
way outside of 6K.
So I'm going ham.
How much did you spend on this video?
I probably spent 20, 15 or 20.
That's the heart.
Here's the lesson, though.
But so what's gnarly about it is like Jerron's like, yo, this shit is amazing. You guys are amazing. But we're driving the end of the day to like this thing with Chris Paul. And he's like, bro, I just got to tell you though, I just got the opportunity to go work for Barack Obama in the White House as the director of social media. I'm leaving. I was like, huh?
Oh,
man. Wait.
I just spent 20K on this.
What happened? Like, and I'm like, oh no, like this sucks. And so I was like, and he's like, bro, I'll introduce you to some people, but like you're gonna have to pretty much start all over at Nike and Jordan. So fast forward, we never get another project there. Ugh. So 6 months later, I've kept in touch with them and tried to see, like, can I come shoot something at the White House? Like, I don't know. Like, can we do something with you? And he's like, bro, like, I just don't have anything at the White House. 6 months later, he hits me. He's like, bro, I think I got something for you. He's like, my friend hit me up. Adidas is looking for a new grassroots agency. I told him one agency and one agency only, and be you guys. So we've had like a somewhat of a rough 6 months after the Jordan event, and I'm flying to Vegas, and he's like, can you go meet this dude named Brandon Walker on Sunday at noon or I think I pushed that. I'm like, yo, where can I go? How can I meet him? And I landed from Vegas, drove straight to Orange County, met this dude, and it was like Jerron Part 2. They look somewhat similar, both young, and he sees me in the parking lot, and he's like, what up, bro? And that gives me the super cool trailer. He's like, oh, yeah, I heard about you. Who you guys worked with? You know, we did this Carmelo stuff. We did this Jordan stuff, yada, yada. Cool. I'll give you a little tour, tell you what we're about. But, like, to be straight with you, like, this is for next year. So I don't have anything for you. Like, This is literally for next June. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm kind of bummed. I'm like, I thought this was us coming back. So he's like, but come to our finale game, our finals game, which is a few days later. I go there, I show up, and he's like, and it's so funny because me and Brandon have become super close. He's the man. And he thought I had the biggest ego and was like, he thought I was just this pompous dude walking around with money and like, all he didn't know, like, I'm relentless. And I show up that day and, what up, man? Like, can we shoot photos? So we start shooting photos, giving him photos. And he's like, what are these dudes doing? Like, what are you doing? So I don't hear from him, but we stay in touch once again, hitting him every week. Yo. 3 months later, he's like, all right, bro, I think I got a first project for you. We have the James Harden release. Their biggest shoe, mind you, in Adidas hoops in the last 10 years since Kobe Bryant. We just fired our agency for social media with 6 days prior to the event. You think you guys could do it? If you can't, turn it down, because if you fuck it up, you will never work with Adidas again.
Yeah.
So it's like, but if you take it on and you kill it, who knows what happens. But I'm telling you, I don't have a lot of money, and if you screw it up, you're done.
Yeah.
No, bro, I don't even think. Once again, heart over mind. We're in. What do we need to do? All right. I need you to come up with an entire deck telling us how we should launch the shoe that comes out. Mind you, they've been working on the shoe for 2 years. You know how we should launch this shoe in 6 days. Come up with a preheat plan. Come up with the event production plan. How you're going to shoot for social that day. Quick turn of giving them content same day. And then, yeah. All right. And you got 40 grand to play with for everything, which 40 grand sounds like a lot of money, but I got to get a crew to Houston. I got to shoot all this content. Yeah. So fast forward, come up with this great idea. They're in it. So they expect us once again to bring 3 or 4, maybe 5 people to Houston. I bring a crew of 17. I have red cameras everywhere, walkies, photographers. We have jibs inside, going ham. We show up. They're like, come the day of. We show up 3 days early, prep. We're in there day early getting stuff. It was gnarly, and the event was somewhat of a disaster for the production company who built the event, and we crushed it. And so now, fast forward, and we've done about 75 projects for Adidas in the last
75 projects
20,
for Adidas.
20 months.
So we're definitely seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Project, you overkill and knock it out of the park. Even if it's a small project, even if it's an internal release, knock it out of the park, kill it.
100%.
First project with Adidas, that's insane. 6 days to launch.
Yeah. That's gnarly. I do want to touch on something you said, because I feel like this is the message that a lot of people say is when you see somebody and you know there's an opportunity there, you need to go make a good impression, kind of
build a relationship.
Right? But from what I see is like a lot of people hear that and go, okay, I'm going to just do everything I can until they know who I am, but they go kind of too much.
For sure.
And kind of scare them away from
For sure.
having a relationship. What is the good balance? Like for you, what's been that balance to be able to not only have the person kind of recognize you, but to actually create a relationship where they want to work with you?
Well, I'll raise my hand and say I've done that a lot of times. Where I've
fucked it up?
I've gone too far, for sure. I mean, but I've definitely learned my lesson. And I think the biggest thing is to show how much you really care, and it's not about the money, it's about the opportunity and how much you just want a chance. You want an opportunity in meeting good people, and I'm a guy who shows my emotions and my heart on my sleeve, and I care about projects. But yeah, you don't want to go too far. You don't want to
you don't want to get a text every single day, right?
Exactly. You know, you want to find your pockets, your pieces. You know, you see something, the NBA draft's on. Yo, man, what'd you think? Trae Young went 5. Like, that's crazy. But it's not all about, yo, do you have any projects for me? Yo, that's one thing I don't really do. I'm not hitting people. Yo, do you have anything you need us for? It's more like, just find a way to be top of mind. Find a way to like get in. Like we go up to Adidas maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, even if we don't have stuff scheduled. I'll schedule a trip. I shouldn't probably be saying this because they'll know this now. but I'll schedule a trip and be like, hey, I have a meeting with Jenny. Do you guys want to meet with us? They're like, oh, sure. If you're going to be here, we'll meet with you. And I do that, and then I hit up a lot of the BUs, and I'll be like, yo, can I meet with you? Because it just gets us in top of mind.
Yeah, sure.
Show us what we've been working on, and then that type of thing. And I think it's super important, but it's important to stay top of mind, but do it in a calm, cool, collected way.
Yeah.
And then, I'm all about over delivering, and I'm all about staying on trend, studying, I think what's really cool about today compared to other times ever is that you can learn so much online and by people around you that you can't learn in college.
Yeah.
And so, my brother always talks about people getting their degrees on YouTube.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
I know.
I mean, even when I'm hiring, I'm hiring 5 positions right now. And reach out to me on Instagram if you have any interest and you're looking for a job, at Ben times 10. And I'm hiring 5 people right now. And where they went to college, I rarely even look at. I don't care if you went to Harvard. I care like, what can you do? Tomorrow you start, what can you do? And you may be, and if you don't have enough background and you're still in college, intern. And just prove how like we can't live without you.
Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest things about today is that you're like starting to see like, dude, not only with like podcasts, but like even with like Gary Vee or like some of these guys are like becoming this new voice to kids going, you don't got to go to college. Like you absolutely don't. 100%. And just hearing you say like, I'd hire people, it doesn't matter about the degree, it kind of just shows where we're at.
I mean, do you do badass stuff? Do you, but this even goes to the agency world. Anybody starting an agency, like you have your old school ad agency model, your big clunky 50, 60, 70-year-old guys, big agencies. And then you got guys like me who started this agency with not a ton of money, and figured out a way, and we're getting big projects that normally would have gone to way bigger agencies, but the reason that we're getting them is that we're coming from a whole different creative mindset. And that's huge.
Yeah, totally. And I think too, like I didn't go to college, right? But I just figured like, shit, if I'm going to do anything, I have to start it because no one's going to hire me without a degree. It's like kind of what I thought, right?
Yeah.
But it's like rad that like that's not even the case anymore. Like you want to just go work for somebody, like all good, just be able to add enough value. I like what you said about the internship. Be able to add enough value where they feel like they can't live without you.
100%. Now, I'll give you a funny story about that. I had an interview with a guy who went to Carnegie Mellon, one of the best schools in the world. Comes and shows up, and no joke, it was the worst interview that I'd ever had, because he's like, I went to school, I was 4.0, yada yada yada. He had never done anything. He had just stuck in a classroom. He didn't do any extracurriculars. He didn't have a job, and he may be brilliant in what he learned in school, but tomorrow when he wakes up and I say, all right, I need you in here at 9 a.m. to start working on this project, he doesn't even know what to do. He has no life experience. So it's like, find that balance. I tell the funny story. I say, unless if you're my surgeon or my lawyer.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care where you went and how you got here. Are you good at what you do? But if you're my surgeon, hell yeah, bro. I hope you went to the best medical school in the world. So I wake up and I still have my arm.
So let's talk about like current day.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this because we talk a lot about this.
Yeah.
You're having so much growth, right?
Totally.
Would you say easily doubling revenue year after year?
We've doubled revenue year after year, and then this year I'm trying to go 4 times rev.
Okay, so massive growth.
It's insane.
Right? But a lot of people don't understand that even going through that type of growth doesn't mean stability, right?
Oh,
You're
my
still
God.
going to have like a lot of issues cash flow issues, whatever it may be.
In some ways, it's harder. I mean, it would almost have been easier to be like, we made $100,000 this year, then $200,000, then $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and you just scale small. But like scaling the way I'm scaling, it's so hard.
So let's talk about what are some of the issues you're going through right now?
Well, I mean, going back to the growth situation, as we grow fast, one thing about being project by project and not retainer based, which is actually what I've enjoyed now is we're more project by project, is it can be very good. But it also makes it really hard to know month to month how much business you're going to have. So one month we could do, 100, 200, 300% more in a month than we did the month before. So it's hard to staff for that. And then it's hard to staff down. You can't really staff down. So I have to staff up at a level and then just keep growing. And so that's been really tough. And then cash flow, when you start dealing with big clients like Adidas, you're on terms. So it's net 30, net 60, these types of terms. So you have to front all of the money. So all of a sudden, they hit you with more projects. It's almost scarier because they may hit you with all these projects, but now I have to front so much more money. And yeah, I'm going to get that money. It's going to be amazing. So I've had to figure out how to factor, how to find ways to find people to lend money off of my receivables, which is what factoring is. But it's a struggle, and it's a struggle to not know who I should hire. It's like, do I need one more designer? Oh, wait, now we're not that heavy in design. Oh, wait, do I need one more in video? Do I need a new project manager? Do I need a new account manager? It's really tough, and I have a good team around me, but I'm somewhat on an island trying to figure it out, trying to navigate it, and I call them friends like you to give me opinions and thoughts and seeing where we can take it. So, you know, there's days I wake up and I go, man, I wish I was a one-man band and could just chase this down and not have to stress about it, but then I snap myself out of this. This is the greatest time of my life. By far, nothing even comes close, and I'm very thankful to be where I am.
Can you talk about the ups and downs emotionally that an entrepreneur
It's
deals
gnarly.
with?
I mean, I'm 37 years old. I'm single, no kids. I love kids. I have a little dog, and I work like crazy. And part of the reason I'm not in a relationship is the ups and downs. It's hard to put somebody else through what I have to go through. And, you know, I could wake up one day and I need to find 100K in 48 hours or I'm in trouble. And that aspect is tough. Now I know how to do it now, and it doesn't get that it doesn't get that gnarly as it used to.
Yeah.
But it's still one of those things where, like, the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur at the level that I am without an investor, it just eats you. It consumes you. It's who you are. It's what your lifeblood is. And I look forward to a day where we can be a little bit more stable. And that's the goal of the next 6 to 12 months, is to become stable and to become a company that is not so
Chasing every...
yeah, it's not so up and down. We got a little bit more of a plateau and then just keep growing, but we're not as stressed. But yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody thinking who's sitting there at their job making money. I mean, don't just jump into this thinking this is going to be easy, because this is brutal. There are definitely days I wake up and go, man, I remember that guy offered me $150K a year, full benefits, vacation days, all that stuff, and I turned it down. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I'm sitting here going, it's awesome. My upside's huge, but man, it's stressful. It's stressful.
So tell us about the CNBC interview you just did.
Yeah, totally. So as many of you guys know, a few weeks back, Instagram launched their Instagram TV with some amazing influencers and stuff. And I actually got asked about this a few weeks ago also prior, because there was rumblings around the social industry that this was coming. And the one thing I'll say about, you know, before I go even all the way to what I think of it, is that Instagram and really Facebook have been absolutely brilliant in looking at areas where somebody else has come in and disrupted an area, and they just come in and take their resources and do it better.
Yeah.
And people may think it's dirty or whatever, but I mean, it's business. So you look at Snapchat, and I mean, those guys they were on top of the world. And then Instagram came in and built story. And then all of a sudden, Snapchat's just way less relevant. And it has way less valuation. It has way less ability to grow into something huge. And so now with this launch of Instagram TV and the ability of bringing through long-form 1-hour content in a whole nother platform that's part of Instagram and allows you not to leave your cell phone and leave your app, is huge. And I think, you know, we're not there yet to the monetization side of it, but they're going after YouTube. They're going after YouTube. They're going after all the streaming companies. They're going after they're going after war, and I think it's brilliant.
So that's kind of the plan with them kind of sticking to this vertical format, is that you don't ever have to leave your phone. They're not going to make a play at like actually watching it on your television, correct?
I don't think they will. No, I mean, I think that, you know, right now they are going to get into the point where you can turn and make content both ways.
Yeah, but will it be 16:9, or will it be like, what type of content are you actually shooting to see it?
I think that's going to be up in the air. I think that this is what's so interesting about how things move today to today comparatively to what we had prior, which now things are, you know, what's so cool is the kid at home is changing what Instagram does. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
The reason this comes is because of people like Ninja. You know, and if you guys don't know who Ninja is, but he's the champion of Fortnite. And he's making millions of dollars sitting at home playing video games in people watching him play video
Yeah.
games. And he's making millions doing it. And he was one of the first early adapters that they wanted in on Instagram TV, long form content, because they want kids to be able to watch that on Instagram. And that's so rad that I think they're very smart to go like, this is where it's going. Well, the days of Time Warner Cable are gone.
I agree.
It's gone.
I agree. So then talking about Instagram, we talk about this, I feel like every day.
All the time.
How do you grow now?
It's brutal. It's absolutely,
Like I miss the
absolutely-
days of just like your content made you grow.
I mean,
You know?
I have a good friend that works over at Instagram. Her name is Siobhan. If you don't know her, go check her out. She's an incredible African-American woman that is just doing badass things. And she works there in one of their departments. And me and her have sat down. And the first time I sat down with her, I just wanted to pick her brain and be like, why? Why the algorithm?
Yeah.
Why not chronological? Like, why? Why did you do this to us? And her point is, and she deals with the owner of Instagram, and he's like, yes, he cares about influencers, but his biggest care is the guy who has 200 or the girl who has 200 followers that's sitting in Boise, Idaho. And what does she want to see? He's not as worried about us. And I understand it, but he's not as worried about us trying to build our following and us trying to monetize. He's more worried about how can I bring the best content and the best experience to her. Do I agree with it? No. I think she lost out because I think a Mikey Taylor fan that doesn't get to see Mikey Taylor as often, who follows you and chose to follow you, should be able to see your content more. And they say push notifications, but who the hell wants to get notifications every time somebody posts something?
Yeah.
I think it's been difficult. It frustrates the hell out of me. I was growing so fast. I'm at 130,000 right now. And those 130K were built over the span of when it was growing like crazy and it was going great. And so now you have to find so many more methods that allow you to grow. And it honestly, sadly, costs so much more money. To build accounts properly, and this is a sad reality, but people are buying fake followers, fake likes, fake comments, fake views, fake everything, is that it's so much harder to do organically. So much. And, there's methods.
So I was tripping on this when you hit me with this last month about like how people have paid for their followings. Like even big guys.
Big
right?
guys.
I had
For
no
sure.
clue. Like skaters have no fucking clue.
People that you guys love at home, probably they're
So is that
following
where
it.
we're at? Like even on like the lower, like the kid right now who's got 1,000 followers, like, dude, I need to get to 5. Can he do it organically? Is it harder for us being at the larger following?
I think it's harder for everybody. I mean, the one-to-one connection is easier. Yeah, from 1,000 to 1,500 is a lot easier for us to go from 130 to 200, or you to go from 4 something to 700 something. That's harder, but because like these kids will be in high school and walk up to, Eric and Mikey and go, hey guys, let's follow each other on Instagram. Cool. That's 2 followers. And so it's easier to go from 1,000 to 1,500, but we're trying to get thousands a day to follow us. And that's really difficult right now. And it's a tough thing, and it's going to be tough. And it's honestly meant to be tough, but there's people out there that can help.
So I got a question for you.
Yes, hit me.
Because you do spend time growing your personal brand.
I do.
What do you spend more effort in, building times 10 or building your personal brand?
So I tell people this, it's kind of
And
interesting.
do they go hand in hand?
So what's so interesting about my Instagram is it's a job. First off, you will rarely see personal stuff on my feed of my page. On the story, I'll get a little bit more personal, but it's tough because I've taken on the approach that I really want people to learn from what I've gone through, but it's a lot of work. Because it's a lot of work, and you need a constant content every day, and but definitely more of my time is spent in times 10. Now, one thing that I have at my disposal that most don't is I have content creators that work for me full time that actually enjoy working on my stuff. They think it's cool. They're the ones coming in my office going, "Bro, let's film a video. Let's film something cool. let's do this. I got an idea. A lot of times they're coming up with some cool ideas, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, I love to tell people my story and love to tell people what I'm going through. And so, but I got some ideas. I want to build some other pages that aren't my page. And I just got a new handle that I'm super excited about.
Did you hear about the handle you got?
I just bought @podcast.
Oh, really?
So I own
Nice.
@podcast on IG. It has 12 followers right now, but
12.
that'll change very soon.
Can we talk about how much you bought it for?
I mean, I'm not
You
going
don't
to tell
have
you the
to.
exact number, but it was way cheaper than I thought it would be. And I'm super happy to have it. But I'm going to buy 2 or 3 more accounts and then do my best to growth hack them. The cool part is that growing accounts like that are so much easier than personal brands.
Yeah.
Building a page about, desserts in podcasts is a lot easier than building
People
a
will
page
still
about,
follow, yeah.
So,
Any tactics on growth that you can share? I know you're doing this stuff at such a high level, but for people listening, growing audiences.
Well, I mean, first things first, your content is super important. I mean, content is super important, and posting often is important, and posting things that are engaging and people want to talk about is super important. So that's like, to me, that is like the core you have to do. Mm-hmm. You don't have another choice. And picking who you are and what you are and one thing I explain to people, anybody that is getting in the quote unquote influencer space is your social isn't for you anymore. So like it's my buddy Jimmy's birthday. Me posting a photo of me and Jimmy's got 200 followers and going, happy birthday to Jimmy. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Jimmy cares. Call Jimmy. Take him out for an ice cream sundae. You don't need to post him on your stream in your feed because people don't care. And that's a tough thing for people to grasp and even our friends to grasp. You can put them on your story if you want, but like for your feed, like that's got to be stuff that you're impacting your audience, that they're coming to you to check out whatever that you want them to check out. Yep. But you got to stay on brand. You are building a brand. And until people understand that you're building a brand, you're never going to have success. Whatever your brand is, just stick with it and make it badass and make it interesting. And then get your squad of people that you trust to bounce ideas and thoughts off by of what you're going to post. Secondarily, there's ways, shout outs are super important right now. If you got friends that have big followings, share your community, bring them together. Mikey and I have done some things together where I did something with Mikey. Mikey did something about me. We share our communities. Why? Because we see eye to eye on stuff, and we want to share our communities to each other. That's a big thing. And I think, and reach out to people that may have, let's say you have 30,000 followers, and you know somebody with 50,000. Reach out to them and go, hey, can we share? Like, let's share something. If you got to throw them a couple bucks, throw them a couple bucks. But like, it's worthwhile for you because that's really the only thing right now that's. And then get as much as you can create great content, it's going to get on the Explore page. That's the only thing. Yeah. But it's so rare to go viral today on just a standard post.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess let's kind of touch base on where you're at now. What was the newest thing with your last ad campaign?
Yeah. So we got hit up once again. I love Adidas, but they give us very little time frame to rock stuff. So they had a colorway coming out of the James Harden Ball 2 called the Nightmare, all black. Really dope shoe, and they sent us a brief, and they were like, "What can we do?" And we came up with a really badass campaign. It was a 1-800 number, 1-800 Nightmare, talking about how James is a nightmare on the court, and if you're having trouble sleeping because you're seeing James in your dreams, please call this number. And the thing where I wanted to touch on this was that I believe in width campaigns. So when we were growing up, you'd see a TV commercial. And that's how you'd find out about something. Or you'd see a billboard. And you'd see one billboard, or you'd see one TV commercial, or you'd see an ad in a magazine, skate magazine. You're like, oh, that board's dope, or that shoe's dope. And then you'd go do something with it. That just doesn't work anymore. DVRs, billboards just don't have the same ability that they used to have. People are on their phones when they're driving, which is bad. But I believe in width. So where I go with this is that I believe in spreading campaigns. So if you're creating a campaign, the virality of it is you need to find 4 or 5 prongs of a campaign. So with this campaign, we came up with this 1-800 number element that we did things like weed pasting and things like a little bit more traditional. Then we went across the board and we went, what can we do on a comedy level? What can we do on an illustrator level? What can we do on like customization of shoe level? So we went and got comedians to do these reenactments of James on the court just clowning on people. We built a seating kit that we sent out to influencers that were like a blanket with James's face on it. These this sound machine that had all this James stuff on it. And we sent them the seating kit saying, hey, are you having nightmares here? Use these to fall asleep. And we went across the board and hit millions upon millions. So we hit about 30 million people with this campaign for about 1/20th of what they spent on their initial James campaign. And we sold a ton of shoes doing it, but the reason is that we hit so many different audiences and so often that people were going, oh, I heard about that nightmare shoe. Oh, yo, did you see that? Things like challenges, I think, are super important, all this type of stuff. So where I'm going with this is that you really should create campaigns that have width. No matter how small you are, if you have a new brand you're starting, spread it. Spread it. Get as many people talking about wearing it, drinking it, doing whatever they can. Spread it. And do it. If you don't have a ton of money, do it with product. Yo, you're launching a new drink. Get everybody drinking it and ask people to post about it. Get reactions. Go to YouTubers. Get reviews. Anywhere you can, but spread it so many places. Because instead of spending millions of dollars on a TV commercial, you can take that millions and spread it like crazy. And I think it just makes an enormous difference.
I think that's incredible. I think that's a great...
Trying, man. Insane. Hey, man, I'm learning every day from so many awesome people around. And you guys are doing amazing stuff. And I'm so hyped that I got to do this with you guys.
Oh, we're stoked to have you, man.
Hell yeah,
we really are.
All right, dude, that was a good one. With the touch many different audiences instead of narrow, like one TV show or one TV ad.
Or even one Instagram post.
Got you, yeah.
Or even just like, oh, I have this thing, like, I'm going to use one influencer, or I'm going to use one of anything I think is wrong. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. So even today's like, because somebody could be sitting at home going, well, I can't afford a TV commercial anyways, but I'm going to go get this ad in the local newspaper.
Yeah.
That ain't going to do it, bro.
Not at all.
Yeah. It's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, Ben. Well, let's plug your social. Where can people find you?
At Ben times 10, which is times and the number 1, the number 0. At times 10, times the number 1, the number 0. Our website is times10.net, times10.net. We have a bunch of our job listings up there, so if people want to check it out. My website's bentimes10.com. And then DM me. If you guys want to talk, DM me. I'm always down to answer questions. We didn't touch on this, but my brother and I we just shot a sizzle for a possible reality show that could be we're working on, but it's not like your standard docu-series. It's really about trying to help entrepreneurs and businesses, and we're doing it because we honestly love to do this. So reach out to me, and if I can help in any way, I'm super down.
Awesome. Epic. Well, Ben, thank you. There's super good insight for people growing their audiences, and it's very impressive to seeing what you've done. Thank you so much, man. And anything else you want to shout out? I think we got it here.
I think we got everything, man. I am just thankful to be a part of this.
All right, awesome. Thanks again. So if you guys are listening, remember, if you're listening on iTunes, you can watch on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we love reviews. Reviews help us grow on iTunes. Leave us reviews, leave comments on YouTube. Let us know what you think, and many more awesome guests like Ben coming soon. Ben, thank you so much.
I'm going to add one more thing. If you are checking this out on Instagram, leave comments.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It, share with your friends.
Yo, this is why we're friends, dog.
It's because the algorithm loves that. The algorithm loves that. Let's get this thing over lots of comments, and I'm going to also post this on mine, so come check it out over there too.
Hey, we appreciate
that.
All right, big dog.
All right, that's it. That's a wrap.